Malcolm Harbour, Conservative MEP for the West Midlands, reports that Jaguar Land Rover are going to end their production of the Defender model in 2015. According to reports, they're saying that they won't be able to meet fuel emission targets. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's no surprise because we know that Land Rover are working on a replacement for the Defender. They've got a fantastic new model programme. So obviously the existing Defender is still selling remarkably well. But you have to remember, I mean, the Defender was designed 60 years ago. And, you know, when the car was being laid out and designed 60 years ago, I mean, I doubt whether the designers anticipated the demands on emissions and safety that we have today. And I think they've done a great job in keeping it in production. But sooner or later, all good things will come to an end. I mean, the really important news is there's going to be a new Defender, which will be recognisably in the Defenderium, but will be up to date in terms of safety, emissions, lighter construction, fantastic cross-country performance, the things that the Defender was known for.
So in other words, they couldn't keep tinkering, I suppose, with the edges of this design and keep up with the latest standards coming from Europe, I suppose.
Well, I think it's obviously a decision that they will have to make. I have to be careful now because I mean, I used to do that job myself in product planning. I mean, the big decisions in car companies are deciding what product you make. But I mean, if you look at what happened with the Mini, for example, which I was involved in, I mean, you can see the same things happen there. That that reaches a stage where you say, well, we can no longer really keep investing in this older car. It's more expensive to modify it, and now is the time to have a new design. And I mean, look what's happened to the Mini since then. That you know, it's recognisably a strong brand name. It's brought thousands of jobs to the UK. It's a product that's selling all over the world. Because they've designed it for global standards. And this is the whole point about the new Defender will be designed for global markets. And one of the things that we're working on, and this is a broader project for the European Parliament and the Commission, is to have global standards for motor vehicles. We've opened the discussion with the Americans over mutually recognising standards between America and the United States. Now that will be a really remarkable move forward. It'll mean products like the new Defender, for example, will be relatively cheaper to engineer for those markets. So, you know, you have to think about the potential for the new car. The new Defender will have a global market potential in the way that even though the existing car with its great heritage would not be able to have.
And do you think the work that you and others have done here at a European level on things like CO2 emissions of car production, do you think that's pushed the car production companies like Jaguar Land Rover to kind of look back on their designs and decide to take things further? Do you think it's needed that push from Europe to improve standards?
Well, in some areas, I mean, obviously legislation does set the pace for car designs. I mean, it's happened historically. Over a long period. I mean, things like airbags, for example, are relatively new in car design.
And is that what's happened in effect in this case?
Well, I mean, as I said earlier, you know, designs evolve all the time. I mean, I think the Defender does have an airbag in it now, but it's much more difficult to retrospectively design these things into a design that was, as I say, it dates back more than 50 years. And the most effective way of engineering something effectively is to design it into the car. I mean, people don't understand how important it is when you're designing and laying out a new car, you have to know which market it's going to be sold in, because you have to anticipate in the layout of the car all the demands of future emission and safety. So it's a big challenge. Now, what we have done is to try and provide the car engineers with a stable long-term platform within which they can then move forward, and that's been the most important thing that we've achieved.
I mean, nonetheless, they're having to, in effect, scrap this model and start from scratch. That's a very expensive process for a car company to have to go through.
No, I don't agree with you at all. I mean, this is part of the evolution of their product range. I mean, you know, certainly the Defender is still selling, but, you know, it's selling because it's still very good at what it does. But now has come the time to replace it. It's a natural life cycle in any company. So, you know, I mean, don't be so negative about it. You know, the good news today is that Land Rover will be investing in a new Defender. That will sell globally in very large volumes, many more than the present car. And that's really good for the Midlands, and it's good for the British economy. That's the news for today.